Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike Green. I'm one of the owners of 1A Auto. I want to help you save time and money repairing and maintaining your vehicle. I'm going to use my 20+ years experience restoring and repairing cars and trucks like this to show you the correct way to install parts from 1AAuto.com. The right parts installed correctly. That's going to save you time and money. Thank you and enjoy the video.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace a front window regulator on this 2002 Mercury Sable, same as any 2000 to 2005 Sable, and very similar for 2000 to 2007 Taurus. The tools you'll need are a Phillips screwdriver, a door panel clip tool or a putty knife, a ratchet and extension with 6, 8, 10, and 11 millimeter sockets, and I have a star next to that 10 because that fit the size bolts that I use to put it back together. You may use bolts, or you may have a rivet gun and decide to put it together that way. You'll need a hammer and punch, a drill with 5/16 and 1/2-inch drill bits to drill out the rivets that hold the regulator in, pliers or small wire cutters, and painter's tape. Okay, use an 8mm wrench. Disconnect my negative battery cable. And this helps protect your battery from running down while your doors are open.
To remove your door panel, you're going to start by removing a series of screws in the front. Okay, there's one here. Then there are 2 down below, 2 right behind the door pull there, and then there's also 2 on the back. Okay, probably have to use a shorter screwdriver for this one in the front.
Okay, I'll just hit fast forward as I remove the rest of them, and they are all Phillips screws. Okay, now you want to use a door panel clip tool. If you don't have one of these, a household putty knife will do the same thing. Put it in behind, and you slide it down until you come to one of the clips, and then pry out. There's going to be a clip up higher as well. Okay, mine's coming off pretty easy because it feels like it's probably been off before. The door panel clip tool you kind of use the same way. Get it in behind, so you come to one of the clips. Pull off, and once you have it loose, then pull it straight out. Okay. Pull it up off of your door lock, and then off of your door handle here. Now just reach in behind. Each one of these has a little tab you press. And disconnect. Okay, down under here, okay, the tab is on the back side, so I'm actually kind of pulling with my finger like that and pulling down. And once those are all unplugged, your door panel comes off. The 6mm socket. And fast forward here as I use a 6mm socket and ratchet, remove that speaker. In behind, you unplug it by pressing a tab and pulling. And now pull the wire harness clips out of the door and pull your water shield back. Okay, so on this side, you've got 4 rivets that hold the regulator to the door. And then on this side, you've got 2 bolts that hold it on there. For these rivets, I'm going to actually use a punch and punch out the very center of the rivet. Okay, so after it's punched, it looks like that. And we'll do all 4.
Now I'm using a 5/16 drill bit, and I'm putting it right into the rivet and just slowly drilling away the rivet. Okay, so here you can see the head of my rivet comes off and it could be hot, so just be careful. And I'll just repeat that for all four. Okay, now I'm going to remove these two 11mm bolts over here.
Okay, I'm just going to speed it up here as I remove those two 11mm bolts. And you can see me, just for safety's sake, hold the window with the other hand just to make sure it doesn't drop down when I take those bolts out.
Now, holding on to the window, you want to push your regulator out, and now your window will go down. Okay, so now what I've done is I've lifted the window up, or actually let it down a little bit, and supported it in this kind of semi-open position, because now we can look right through here and we can see a rivet that holds the track to the window there, and a rivet that holds the track to the window right there.
So now I'm going to repeat the process of punching out the middle of those rivets. One tip here is if you have an assistant hold the bottom of the window, it'll help keep it steady to punch out those rivets and then drill them. I do have an issue on this one where I can't punch out the rivet in the front, so I basically just use the drill and file it down as much as possible and then take it apart. And you will want to use a larger drill bit, probably like a 3/8 or 7/16. And once you have the rivets drilled out, you'll probably want to take the window out so you can get the remainder of the rivets out of the window. Okay, pull off the trim on the back of the window opening, and then pull up the weather strip that's on the window ledge. Okay, and just move that out of your way, and then you can kind of tilt the window forward and bring it up and out.
Okay, so you can see I kind of mutilated this one. I just basically filed it down with the drill. So I gotta take some wire cutters and just cut off some of the rivets so it'll go through. And then I can just come on this other side. Okay. First I'll finish pulling the middle of the rivet out. Then just grab hold of this and work it out. Okay. Then this one up here. That's okay. These just go back in and snap together. Okay, so I'm going to put the window back down in. Okay, make sure you get the rear into the channel, and then pull the front up in, and then you can pull it all the way up.
And once you pull it up, use some painter's tape and just use a few strands to hold it in place. Okay, now put the windowsill weather strip back in place. Put the back down in first, and then press the middle down, and then put the window trim back in place.
Okay, so here's the new regulator from 1A Auto. Pretty much the same as the old one. The only difference is it does have a little pigtail for the connection. That's not that big of a deal. You can feed it right in, just like the other one came out. Okay. Get it in place, and we'll use some M6 bolts, 10mm with a washer on them. I'm going to put this first one into the regulator because it'll just be a little easier. I'm just reaching in here and putting it in this upper hole. Okay, kind of hold it in there. Take the regulator. Okay, there's a little slot here that comes through and just kind of holds it. I've got little serrated nuts for the other side. Get that one started. I can reach through up here. Okay, I'll do this top one. Okay, so that one's through. And even though these are sticking through, they're not going to interfere with anything. Okay, use a 10mm socket.
Okay, so basically I'm using nuts and bolts to replace the rivets. If you have a rivet gun and the correct size rivets, obviously you can put it together that way. And I'm just speeding up here as I put the rest of the bolts and nuts in, and then tighten them up nice and firm with a socket and ratchet, and then reposition the arm of the regulator and put the other bracket in place and bolt that in place with the 11mm bolts.
Over here, and connect our window motor. Just so I know it's up out of the way, I'm just going to kind of pinch it right in here a little bit. Okay, so now we're pretty well lined up. You can see there's one of the holes for the window track and the other one. Okay, we'll slide the window down and hold it. You're going to want to use some longer, maybe 2cm long bolts.
And what I'm doing here is feeding the bolt through the window first, and then kind of positioning the window and getting the bolt through the track. And then obviously repeat that for the rear mounting point.
Okay, so I've got those bolts started in.
Okay, now here I'm using my socket with my extension and inserting a 10mm nut and getting it onto the bolt that is through the window and the regulator. A tip here is that if your regulator, when you put it in, it may not quite line up perfectly with those access holes in the door, so you can always just reconnect your window switch, reconnect your battery, and move the regulator a little bit to line it up better with the access holes. And you want to tighten those up nice and firm. You might need a 10mm wrench as well, or whatever size nut and bolt you might use. Okay, and here with the battery reconnected, I reconnect my power window switch and just run a quick test. together. Okay, and we'll fast forward through this. Make sure our connection is solid. Put the water shield back. Bolt back in the speaker. Make sure you reconnect the speaker, then bolt it back in. Put the harness clips back into the door, and then just get the water shield all set, and you can put your door panel back on.
Reinstall the door panel. You've got pins in certain places. 2 up top. There's a couple down here. I'm missing a couple because this has been apart before. But you also have these 2 larger lineup pins. So you want to put your door up, put your panel in place. Reconnect all your harnesses. Green one goes there. Power mirror goes up here. Okay, and these 2 go into the power window switch. Okay. You want to put your door handle through and then slide the panel back. Lift it up. Get your door lock, push through, and kind of peek in behind and line up those large lineup tabs, both the front and the back, and then just make sure that your pins are going in to the holes. Okay. Now put your screws back in. Start with the one in the front here.
Okay, I'm just going to speed up here as I put the rest of those screws in. When you tighten them, you want to tighten them nice and firm, but you don't want to over tighten them. And once you've done this, reconnect your battery and you're all set. We hope this helps you out. Brought to you by www.oneauto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.